All right, mates, welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody's doing well. JL Scott Fishing and Eats. Big shout out to Purple Lion Coffee, Vigilante Coffee here in College Park, Maryland. Be sure you check them out. Be sure to check out, if you're in the market today, Hoodoo for a kayak this summer, late spring, summer on the river. You want to check out Hoodoo Kayaks at Journey Outdoors or Oak Hill Outfitters in Virginia. Those are probably your two closest dealers if you're in the DMV. And you want to check out those river models because they are the best for money, for quality to value in the market today. That's coming from a guy who has fished Old Town and Perception kayaks, have fished other kayaks, have demoed a whole bunch of kayaks. I'm telling you right now, for your money, you want to check out the Hoodoo line at Journey Outdoors or Oak Hill Outfitters in Virginia. I do not believe someone can chime in the comments, update me, send me a Facebook message if Delaware Paddle Sports. Obviously, you're not going to pay any sales tax in Delaware, mates, on that high kayak cost. But not sure. I don't think that they sell Hoodoo yet. I don't think they're a dealer for Hoodoo yet. So anyway, check those out down in Virginia. We're going to talk about the latest. It's not new, but it hasn't. A lot of people I talked to in the last couple of weeks were totally like in the dark about this kayak launch that got done about 2 years ago. Really, like just around like during COVID and during all of that. So a lot of people didn't really know, didn't show, like pay attention to the, the ribbon cutting, so to speak, and a lot of people haven't followed. There's very limited number of videos out there. So we're going to go out and make one. That's what we're going to do. So we are going to get out on the Rap, and we're going to get out on the Rapidan as well in the coming days of spring, going into early summer, in large part because the river levels are actually down right now. So it allows you an ability to explore a little bit better. I want to remind everybody, just like I've reminded the dozens of people that have contacted me on Facebook, these rivers have class-rated rapids on them, especially the Rappahannock, okay? So you want to make sure that you do your due diligence in terms of your ability, and make sure you have the right kind of kayak, okay? If you're going down in certain areas, I say this all the time for the people who like fish up northeast, really, of Millville on the Shenandoah. You're going to go through the staircase that runs down through like Harper's Ferry, the confluence with the Potomac River. That can be kind of a pretty crazy place, okay? So you want to make sure you know your abilities and you have all the safety stuff in place to understand, depending on what the water levels are, making those type of runs, okay? So just be aware of that. Shenandoah has some rapids too as well. Rap's got some crazy ones, okay, that you want to make yourself aware of. But this kayak ramp, it's this up here towards from Remington, from Rector here, Rector track, going west towards Warrington, okay, and Fauquier, right? You don't really deal with that, okay? And so you can either come down as the river flows down to the confluence, with the Rapidan, and then moves down further into tidal areas. You got a pretty easy flow. Long floats for sure, but pretty easy going. And so then this new kayak launch is one of two that they've really pushed here in the last 2 years. The Preserve, which is further upriver, as well in Fauquier County. They're really doing a great job in really providing access that didn't exist 10 years ago, mates. Okay? And a lot of private property, a lot of all those things. So you want to take a look at it. This kayak launch, Rector Track, is basically just outside of Remington, on River Road in Virginia, okay? And it is 5 miles. It sits right here, okay? It is about 5 miles to Kelly's Forge. Kelly's Forge is a very popular, access point for this section of the Rappahannock. Um, it opened in August of 2021, so it's not even 2 years old yet. Okay. Um, and it's crazy history in this part of the state. One of the things I love about fishing is it takes you to some places like Antietam Creek and the Antietam Battlefield in Maryland. Okay. Um, the Rap and the Rapidan run through some pretty hollowed ground in Virginia, mates, from the Civil War. Okay. So there's a lot of things that you can do and embrace in visiting these places and these towns. Okay. Because most of these are towns, they're not cities. Okay. Um, just good people. Okay. Salt of the earth people. So you're going to run into in most of these towns. You're not going to run into most of the crap, honestly, that you run into in the Northeast. You're not. I mean, at ramps and places like that, you're just not. Like, it's chill. Everyone's welcome. Everybody appreciates you coming into town, eating at the diner, filling up at the gas station. That's Virginia for the most part. Now, there are other areas of Virginia I don't care to visit, but, Central Virginia and Western Virginia and the Valley and all that, I'm all down for. Um, So there's a good shot. There's a video of this boat launch on YouTube. You can check it out. But look at that shot right there. Like, that says it all right there. Like, skinny water, great scenery, you know. Um, so the new boat launch in Remington makes traveling on the river easier for residents up and down, true, the Rappahannock. Visitors that put into Riverside Preserve near Waterloo Bridge previously needed to travel nearly 25 miles downstream. Now, that's like Kelly's to Mott's. Okay, that's like an overnight trip. 25 miles is an overnighter. Okay, I don't care what river you're on, Shenandoah, Upper Potomac, Rappahannock, it's an overnighter. All right, fun, but it's still an overnighter. So you're gonna have to plan that accordingly. Okay, need to travel that downstream to the next takeout point, which is what Kelly's Ford, which is in Culpeper County. Okay, now kayakers and canoers have the option of a 20-mile paddle from Riverside to River Track. So 5 miles less. So so not nearly as big, still a 2 day. Still a 2 day. Okay. Still an overnight, but still. But it also afforded that 5 mile easy run Rector to Kelly's. You'll see that right here. Okay. So these are from here to Rector is 20 miles. From Rector to Kelly's is 5 miles. And then you can see what we got going on down here with Mott's Landing. Okay. And right in here, when you go through that, if you make that run from Kelly's, which is a pretty awesome trip, if you time it right with the right, like late spring, not when it's really hot in summer, but just come late spring, like May, June, early June, late May, early June. If you can get on the water then, you don't get the bug. You don't get like that just like summer, like, scathing, okay? And you do that trip to Mott, you're going to go through that confluence where you'll see the confluence of Rapidan right there at Dunn's Run, and you're going to be coming down. Now, you're going to deal on that float. You will deal with rapids, okay? You need to be aware of that, okay? Hopefully, I think we're going to do that this summer because I've had a lot of people ask about it. Like, can you fish? Can you fish the staircase in the Shenandoah? Can you fish the rapids of the Rappahannock and things like that? And yeah, there's always like eddies and there's always spots, even like up near Harper's Ferry on the Shenandoah. There's always spots where these bass, there's heavy current and whitewater, but there's always spots adjacent to these spots, right? That offer you an ability to get out, of the run over and fish to the sides, because a lot of times fish are in these little pools and are ambushing everything that's coming down. you know. And so, yeah, but there's not really a lot. I haven't found, and a lot of people have said, man, I can't find anything on, YouTube, or I can't find anything. So I think we're going to try and get out and do it. You know, we got the overnights coming up, river floats, some daily river floats coming up, and we've got 2 overnights that we know we're going to do, this year already. And we just wanted to make sure we didn't time them with events because of issues. Didn't want to because last year people could fish with us on an overnight during an event, and so it just makes it a little bit potentially where people get upset and protest people because you've got fishing cutoffs. And if you're on an overnight float, you could be floating until after 4:00, right, on Friday, and you still want to fish, okay, catch and cook right before dinner, right. And then Saturday you're in a tournament, but your cutoff was at 4:00, so you basically are, you've committed a DQ offense. So we wanted to eliminate that problem by not doing it around a tourney weekend specifically, just because we don't have to monitor people, and we don't have to be part of that. We don't have to be part of any kind of investigation into people fishing events while they're on an overnight float. I don't care, but again, you just don't want to be party to that. You want people to abide by the rules and stuff. So that's what we've done. So we've got one on the Upper Potomac that's not going to conflict at all as it stands right now. The second one is going to be Susquehanna, but we may actually switch that depending upon this week, the Rapp or Rappahannock, just because it's more convenient for people than having to drive all the way up to Pennsylvania. Because most of the people in the DMV are right here in the Central Virginia, Maryland, and then Eastern Maryland, Eastern Virginia area that follow the Facebook page and have participated in kayaking get-ups in the past. But that is it. That is your Rector. You got Upper Rappahannock Water Trail, okay? Now, that's all northwest of Fredericksburg. That's your the Up Rap, okay? And so this list where you got your preserves, and then this is a pretty cool trail. It shows you what you got, okay, in terms of your distance. Okay? So you've got, for example, 19.7 miles from Riverside, like we talked about, to Remington, and then 5 more miles to Kelly's Forge. Okay? So you can say, hey, look, Jay, I only want to go on on a 5-mile float, which is a pretty easy, 4-hour, 5-hour, depends on your skill level and how fast you're breaking down. If you're fishing, if you're just going on a float, it's different than if you're breaking down as you're going. You can go right here, it's 4.3 miles from Mott's Run, okay, to Friends of the Rappahannock, right? You can see that, okay. Rappahannock River Campground on the Rappahannock is 5 miles from the confluence, which is Dot's Run, right? Okay, you can see that. Rogers Ford is 5 miles from the Rappahannock Campground. So you could do a 10-mile float. You could go from Rogers Mill to Rappahannock Campground, and then Rappahannock Campground, okay, right? Confluence. Or however you want to do it. This is a good thing that you can use, the Upper Rappahannock Water Trail, to pinpoint what you want to do. In solving these access problems, this is what they're doing on the Rap, which is unique. Okay. There's not very many rivers and very many leaders. And this was community driven, community led, I think, by their board of supervisors, that are doing this on our river systems. Okay. That are allocating the resources and getting it done. And there's major rivers that have not seen this kind of focus. James River certainly hasn't. Okay. Shenandoah has been Shenandoah, okay, forever. Things are kind of fixed, right? Upper Potomac, same way. You've got the lock system. You've got the Department of Interior and all that stuff, National Park Service. All of that is fixed, right? There's no new access points. And so it's really great to see and support, those people that are providing us greater access to our river systems. Okay. And check that launch. Look at that right there. Okay. Beautiful. Right. Simple, easy, slide on down on the water, go, have a great float, have a great day. Do it in tandem to where you've got shuttle services here. I'll post up on Facebook when I link this video, the shuttle services that you can the campgrounds and shuttle services that you can kind of look at if you want to do that extended float. If you don't have to, or you don't have a plan in place, for that. So it just works out really, really well. I mean, it's very, very awesome place. Had a chance to go down there and check it out. I was totally impressed by the people in Remington, the hospitality of the people in Remington. I'll also do a couple eats on some places in Remington. And if you're going here that you want to swing by and check out, I'll get that stuff posted up too. And then we're going to get back down there. And so really get on it and start to break that river apart. There's not that much coverage, especially for fishing, on these sections. Okay. Because a lot of people just post-COVID haven't done the videos now in this water that's now been opened up. Because not many people want to do a 20-mile float. Just most people just don't want to do an overnight float, right? And then they can't. So that area now is opening up a lot of water that a lot of people haven't fished, okay, over the years, right? That's how you have to think about it, right? I mean, no, like I said earlier, if you look at that, there was no access point. So you had to go from Riverside Preserve all the way to Kelly's, 24.3 miles. How many people did that, right? Well, now that section is shortened from Remington to Kelly's of 4.6 miles. So they opened up that 4.6 mile stretch that probably realistically didn't really get fish except from the bank. As far as the people I've talked to in town and all that, it was banks. It was bank fishermen. Wade fishermen sometimes when the river was low, but it was pretty much bank fishermen. So that's just a neat little update here on River Tract in Remington, Virginia. You can find that. It's on the Rappahannock River Water Trail. I'm going to be doing a series on the on Rapidan, and on the Maury and Upper James this summer, okay? So that's on the horizon, okay? So we are going to expand and start to break down. Hopefully, I'm going to get to the Allegheny, but I might not get to the Allegheny and the Monocacy until September, because that's where I really, really do really well on Monocacy and Allegheny is in September, October. Some fall fishing. So I think I'm going to save those for that, and then we'll break down those in a breakdown series, just like we did the Tidal Potomac series that everybody liked. You can check that out on YouTube. All right, mates, if you got any questions on river access of any of our rivers in our region, as well as licensing, any questions about licensing, any questions about access, fishing, hot spots, honey holes, floats, hit me up, JL Scott Fishing and Eats on Facebook. Give me a text. You can find me on TikTok and Instagram as well. You can just shoot me a message. I do my best to get back to everybody's within 24 hours, and we'll go from there. But stay tuned for our updated fishing out on the Rappahannock coming up as we really, really start to get dialed in here post-spawn. Or now they're spawning now. So we're kind of trying to lay off. I know I'm trying to lay off my smallmouths on the Upper Potomac, laying off the smallmouths in the Shenandoah because they are spawning right now. And smallmouths, they're peculiar things, and we need our spawns to be successful. So I don't want to be any part of, disrupting that natural process. But in about 2 weeks post-spawn, we're ready to get back out there. We're ready to slamming them because they will start to be moving back to the middle of the river, moving back out of those spawning areas. You can check out, if you want a really quick, informative thing, subscribe to the newsletter. It's free, mates. Subscribe. Go on Facebook and search Smallmouth Army, chasing smallies. You can get on there and you can hit one of the newsletters, and then inside the newsletter, you can just subscribe to the newsletter. There's always a thing that allows you inside one of the articles to subscribe. It's free. We talk about the spawn. We talk about river conditions. We talk about reading rivers. We talk about what baits are hot on the river. We talk about what's going on with water clear, all grass, all these things. There's educational things that you can apply to making yourself a better angler. And that's all we're about. That is all we're about, is helping you catch more fish. All right, mates. Hope everybody has a great, great day.